So today it's generational trauma. Generational trauma. What is that? Well, it is a traumatic event that carries on from generation to generation if we do not get healed. Hello everyone, my name is Toyin Okunuga. I'm the CEO of Hush to Raw, releasing your inner child. So generational trauma. So this is one of my core reasons of writing my book. What is that? Generational trauma. And generational trauma was one reason in my book, Hush to Raw. You'll see it there. Hush to Raw. It's documented. It's actually been scientifically proven that epigenetics, I'm not going to go into scientific things here because it gets all boring, but the only way I can describe epigenetics is we know genes are fixed. So we have our genes, they're fixed. So the epi is like a cap. Our environment, anything we've gone through is like on top of the gene and it sticks there. It's like the gene is written in pen, and the epigenetic is written in pencil. So we can rub off the epigenetic bit if we work on ourselves. But if we don't, that epigenetic, which is an expression of a gene, gets on top of us. So if we've been traumatic, gone through a childhood trauma, the environment that we've been through, if we have a child, apparently that traumatic experience can be passed on to that child unintentionally. So when I read this, so I've done a lot of research, and when I read that gave me chills. And I said, wow, so how does one heal? So I've said all that along the way. It's owning our voice. It's from a hushed state to a raw. Healing, getting therapy, seeing medical practitioners, and not being ashamed to take our loved ones to someone who can help them when they've undergone a traumatic experience as a child. It is so important once we identify that things we're doing are not in sync with what the norm is, or not quite norm, but our character, then we should sort of trace our steps back and say, how was my childhood like? Did I have ABC, like myself? So I went through a lot of traumatic experiences, but I can only tell you that it's all in there. This will be one of the most authentic books you'll ever read because this is my naked truth. I don't hold back because when I learn, I teach. I learned that a lot of things that I had as an adult were as a result of my childhood experiences. So what have people been saying? Some people have been talking about my book. So, oh wow, Toyin, your memoir is so emotional that there are tears in my eyes right now as I'm reading it. I kept saying to myself, what is this? Yes, it's a hard decision. I can't even go further. You are a star. And then clap, clap, clap. That's what one person said. There are so many more there. But I said to that person, quickly read that and go to the recovery bit because it's not all dark. So the generational trauma, it lives on. If we don't heal, and even apart from the epigenetic ones, there's some things that as a child and as a growing up, you say you will never do that to your child. Say you've been smacked or something. You say you'll never do that. And then unintentionally, you grow up and actually you're getting to do that. We need to be intentional about what we do. So I'm learning as a mother as well to say I have to be more intentional about my actions because it lives on. And it has been proven that if you've gone through something that's passed on to you, you could pass it on. And it could be generational to generational. And this is what I want to break. So I want to draw a line in the sand and say, enough is enough. We've got to stop and say, I'm no more ashamed of standing on top of my story. So I'm standing on top of my story now. I'm no longer swimming in it and I'm no longer ashamed because I want to heal. I want to make sure that any inadvertently passed over trauma that I have to those around me will not stick. But also, I want to bring others through to say you can heal. We have to train our mind. We have to know that the past is the past. We have to identify, feel our feelings, but then recognize that we are now in the moment. The past has no power in the presence. And we have to heal. We have to make intentional steps of deliberately wanting to heal so that we don't pass those events, traumatic experiences on to our children. Apparently, even if you get pregnant, it can be formed in the womb. I thought, oh my word. I was shocked, guys. I was very, very shocked. So for me, I believe I can't do this alone. And I'm not just sharing my story. So everyone has an objective of writing a book. If you know me very well, you know that my objective is it's not money at all. It's just the childhood experiences that are adverse. I want to make sure that child abuse stops, full stop. We have to overcome the shame and cure this because let's face it, if things have changed, we won't hear a lot of suicide rates that are unexplained. There's some things that people do to themselves that they don't tell us because of shame, because of lack of support, because of loyalty, because of culture. And I want to draw a line in the sand and say enough is enough. We have to take a stand. We have to be an example to the next generation so that our children don't marry into broken, you go in married broken and you just become broken and you're broken and then that brokenness just continues. It's just evidently there. So that's why, one reason why I wrote my book is to share, because we're all going to mingle in the world. So we just need to be intentional because we're all going to mingle in the world, right? So if I'm healing, I want you to heal so that we can have a lovely relationship. I want our children to heal so that they grow up into a lovely society that we are paved for them. And we should stop being ashamed of what we've been through because that does not define us. It does not define who we are. What we've gone through does not make us who we are. We have to agree to that. We have to heal and say, for that reason, because of what I've come through, I want to bring others through. So together we can stand for what's right and say, no child abuse. We have to stop that because it's going to be generational. It will pass on and it will just not stop. So that's my message today. And that is key in my book. If you know me, you know my objective is because this is my passion to make sure that we stop. We hit shame on the head and say, you have no place here. We are not ashamed anymore. We can stand on our stories, but we need to recognize that fakery, being fake, has not taken us very far. Our false self has taken us so far. We have to start being true to ourselves. The false self has taken us so far. We have to be true to ourselves. We have to say no. We have to say no to that loyalty because they're giving us bread and butter. If you believe in God, then you know God will give you your bread and butter. And you have to reveal to heal. So the next generation will heal and we won't pass it on. But I believe that if we want to heal, we have to do it now. We can't wait. We can't wait because the generations are coming and they're not seeing change and they're believing they're alone. And I say to them, Yana, you are not alone. We've gone through experiences too. You can pull through. But we need to stand to make sure that we pave the way for them. And we can only do that by showing up, by standing up and staying up and saying no. We will not pass that trauma down. We will heal. It's a short one today. Thank you guys. I appreciate you. Your inner child has a voice. Don't suppress it. Don't. Let it roar.